As any passion, I think, like many students, they have like a passion, they love it. I never felt like it's training.
Wow.
No, I never felt like I have to do this. I never felt it's not today. I'm tired. Like no, like you just want more and more and more. So I don't have any issues with that. I feel like no. I think it's just a perspective. You just need to switch your mindset. I think it's harder if you don't have a passion, because now you have to do something that you're not really passionate about, and you're like, okay, I'll do it. But then you have to pace yourself. You need to find tricks. For Khon, nothing. I think if you have a passion, go with it. Just go as far as you can. Just keep going. It brings you joy. For me, that's the whole, like, it's like breathing. I'm doing it and it's just like, I need this. I want to do it. It's, I never felt like it was sacrificing something. It just felt natural, and you need to do it. I would say, like, just surround yourself with other as passionate people. I think this is the best. When you have like people that surrounds you that love the same thing as you do, you can just nourish one another and just like bring it even further or even better. I feel like this is the best. Like when I go with my friends and then we go to perform anywhere, that's the best moment. Like you have like this human experience, and it's really warm, and everyone is just like, and it's a family. Like it's a really small community. We all know each other, very tight, and they really care. Like we really care to one another, like family members. And, like when people see your body, they already assume something about yourself. So seeing my body and then seeing me moving as a Thai performer, it's something that the audience, that people who don't know me, they need to do this switch. There's a moment, like they have to, what's that? So that's the main thing I would say, that now people like, and identity-wise, like what am I? Like being this foreigner, but like also like moving really like into Khon, because I didn't learn dancing before that. So I wasn't ballet trained. I wasn't a contemporary dancer. I was a Khon dancer, and then I started to do something different. But have you seen that? Have you read the Ramakian? Like how many characters are there? Like there's so many things, so many storylines. So I'm always keep to learn a little bit more. Like, I just went to Sukhothai, and then they have like this scene with another demon that I said, oh, which one is it already? I forgot this one. It's like, oh yeah, I saw it like many years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and then you just remember. But you see, like even you can always surprise yourself with, oh, there's this as well. So this is why I think it's interesting, and the details, the whole of it. Like it's, what is interesting is when you look at the interaction of Tosakan. So every time Tosakan follows his desire, he will get something bad happen. So if he follows his passion, like his very like heated heart, and I want Nang Sida. So he wants to catch it, he gets it, but then this whole story happens. He wants the glass chariot, so he steals it from his uncle, and then bad things happen again. So it's always, I think, the takeaway if you follow the storyline of Tosakan. Desire is not to be followed. You should follow your head. Think before doing something. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's the like really something that you can take from the Ramaki. Your duty also as someone in society. So as a citizen, what is your duty? Nowadays, we have a lot of individualism. We always focus on our need, our own selves. We try to become our better selves, and but we really focus in our discourse. We really focus on the community and on our responsibility as a member of that community. So it's something that I hope we can take from this and help contemporary people to come back together more than what we are going in the other direction, I feel. So I think hopefully this can help.
So hopefully the art brings people together, and it's also a way of conveying Buddhism, like messages or ethical takeaways as well.
I mean, I think the Ramakian is telling it. A lot of the story and the takeaways is really about Buddhist teaching. But then in a secular society, for the whole world, we need to find a way how to adapt it.
Yes.
Maybe to take it more as an ethic, as something that is good for society in general.
Also applicable.
That's it
as well.
And not maybe necessarily being just Buddhist, but being more open.
Yeah.
Even those ideas are similar.
Yes.
Then just the context of the way to bring it out makes it more acceptable for some people. The Ramakian is it has influenced every aspect, every cultural form in Thailand has been affected or has been influenced by the Ramakian in some way or another. Painting, architecture, poems, you look at dance, music, you see the paintings in Wapakeo, like everything. Ramakian has so much influence in the roots of Thai culture that Khon has to be part of this landscape. Like it's just obvious. Khon is there. So it's very important, I think, to support. Just supporting Khon helps to support like everything around it. So not only the art form, but the makers as well. So you support artists, artisans, and people can still live and work properly while supporting Khon as well.
I totally agree, because by supporting Khon, we're also providing job opportunities for those that are artisans, artists, and I think by encouraging the government to fund art projects like these and showcasing it to the public, this will also increase job opportunities, as you've mentioned, like how Khon sort of is the major kind of way that provides
cool,
more.
Right? It's like
right.
this.
It's the core.
That's it. So for me, it's good. Like not only for this, but it's the when we talk about like Thai history, Thai identity, Thai culture, all those, Khon is part of it. Anybody can do yoga now. Anybody can do ballet, and they don't think about the beliefs, or they don't think about like the history of it, or like it could be something like this as well. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that for the future of Khon,
yes,
it could go this direction. Maybe it can go in both directions at the same time, and it's fine. Like it's just depend on each person and how do we preserve, how do we contribute to the art form. So when you go see Nang Talung, they always have new stories to tell. It's very contemporary, very funny. And they can have new characters with their shadow puppets as well, because there's no frame that don't allow them to do this. They will change accordingly to the audience. If they see like this character works really well with this audience, they will keep doing it. If this character didn't work well, okay, I'll change, I'll find another one. So they can always change. DK is the same. They can always make it very funny depending on what's happening in the politics or social or religious or like whatever is happening in the society at that point. They can make a joke about it. They can expand the storyline about this, and then it makes it really fun for people like locals and people who go and see this. So for me, it's so different when you have like those different art forms that it's not really connected because the code is different.
Yes.
The way we learn it is different. The whole thing is like very like folk and classical form don't have the same issues, I think. What I'm looking for when I get on stage actually is this connection. I'm looking forward to connect with my dance partners and with the audience. So when we can find this connection, like this energy that's really like you feel it, like you know that you're on the same vibe, like you really, everybody like has the same energy, we all work together, even if we don't touch each other, even if we don't look each other, you have like this feeling that you're really connected. And then when you are able to convey the emotion and really get into your character, and then you can connect to the audience. If on stage you have like 20 people, 20 performers, but for a reason that you don't know, the audience, they all look at this one. For me, I want to be that person. I want to be that person that there's something, like the energy, the way he is on stage, like it just, yes, it just reach you, and you're like, you have to watch this one. There are 20 people, why you don't watch the other one? They're all dancing, they're all doing monkey things, but you're looking at this one.
Why is it eye-catching?
That's it. Why there's something. And for me, it's not only the movement, it's not, there's something that is not seen, that is intangible, and for me this is how I want to perform, and this is what I'm trying to do. And then when you have this mask, that it just isolates you from the outside world. So you don't have, like, I don't have my ears exposed, I don't have like, anything actually exposed to the elements, so it gives you like it's just like the music, the sounds get a bit lower, just a little bit, not too much, but you just like, you isolate yourself a little bit more, and it helps you to just get into your own character. Whereas I don't have to focus on my face, I don't have to focus on emotion through my face, I only feel it, and then I'm like, okay, look, like now I'm angry, like I'm just there. It's just, you feel it in your bone and your muscle, and you're like, you need to. All right, it's really. So I think this is the when you're on stage, that's the whole point. When I perform and I'm not connecting with the audience, if I'm not connecting with my fellow dancers, that's the worst. This is when you feel like it didn't work. Today didn't work. I need to challenge. I need to find a way how to make it happen next time. For me, and in the film that I did, I felt that the mask is one of the key of Khon. It's the one that I feel like it pushes us to use our bodies more than convey emotion through the faces. We have to work on the angles of the mask to make sure that this angle, just slightly bent, this conveys this kind of emotion. But if we put it more, it changes the emotion right away. It becomes something, So it's something like this. It's that detail, because you need to make sure you know, how do I position myself if you don't see my eyes, you don't see my face emotion, like so different. So for me, the mask, I think it's key of the dance. So the idea is, I think you just practice. That's the key to anything. If you work hard, you will get opportunities, you will get better, you will improve. So practice, that's it.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you can do much more. I think people usually, they will watch a lot. So you can look at many performances, go see them, follow your idols, the dancers that you feel like, oh, he danced so good, I really want to become as good as he is. So you can just look at those performances with those dancers that you admire. This can help you. And then practice. No need to wait for anyone. Don't wait for your friends. Don't wait for the perfect studio to go for it. Do it. You have space at your house. Do it at your house. You have space at your school. Do it at your school. Whenever you have time, you can just find the time to do it. It doesn't take much to do it.
Which camera's filming right now? Take notes, everybody.
Yes, because I think that's the main thing. Usually I feel like many people, they just like, I don't want to do it alone, or my teacher is not here, too lazy to do it. So then you don't do it. And then you just like, I don't do it, and then you don't do it again. So then you never improve. So you really have to challenge yourself, keep practicing. It's like learning a music instrument. It's the same as learning like sports. You don't become like an expert in basketball if you don't shoot. So it's the same thing. You don't become an expert in dance if you don't dance. That's it.
Hello everyone, this is another interview series from the Source of Success YouTube channel, and today we are joined by the well-known international Khon performer, Mr. Benjamin Tardif. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you so much for taking your time to join us today, and we look forward to exploring and further learning more about the art of Khon today through this interview.
Great.
Yeah, so without further ado, please allow us to introduce ourselves.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Piamsuk Kiattikhunrat. My nickname is Tan Tan. One of my passions is to explore, learn, and try new things. And today I'm excited to be learning more about the arts of performing Khon in this interview.
Hello everybody, and my name is Marco Silawatanakud. I am from Verso International School, and my hobby is about paleontology and making dioramas. I have been learning Khon since I was in grade 4, since it's a subject I need to take, then I fall in love with it since.
Hello, my name is Nakamon Sae-Ngow. My nickname is Fafa. I come from St.Marks International School. I was first introduced to the term Khon when I was in primary school, and here I am today about to interview this amazing Benjamin Tardif, and I hopefully learn something new from this inspiring person today.
Hello, my name is Nathamon Silprachawing. My nickname is Hilight. I am from International Community School of Bangkok, or ICS. And one of my passions is I enjoy exploring different cultural topics through constructive discussion. Alongside of that, I discovered the art of Khon when I was on a field trip to Nitarratanakosin Museum, and I was mesmerized by how expressive the art of Khon could be, despite the fact that some particular characters of Khon require us to wear a mask, and because of that, some of the characters need to express their feelings through physical movements. So I was very impressed by that. Yeah, and I look forward, and I'm very excited to learn more about the art.
My name is Benjamin, and I am from Canada. I moved to Thailand about 10 years ago to pursue my study in Khon. And I've been a teacher at Bandit Patanasin Institute. So I'm teaching languages, English mainly, so that the students in dance and music, they can perform, they can also they can teach in English about Khon and things like that. I'm a member also of the Sarashan and Pung Royal Theatre. So I'm one performer over there at this theatre. And I also have my own artistic, I guess, collaborative group with Compagnie Intangible or Company Intangible, which is based in Canada. And I've been, we just started this project to actually to mix kind of the Thai dramatic arts with also some Western music. So this is a new project, but yeah, so this is what I'm being up to nowadays. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's very interesting and amazing as well, how you're trying to find a mixture, find the common ground between Thai cultures and Western cultures and kind of mix that to create a new combination. That's very impressive that you can find that. So could you describe what is the art of Khon?
Yes, sure. So where do we start, right?
Yes.
So Khon is a very ancient art form. I think we can trace it back like from the Ayutthaya period in Thailand. But we can go even further than that if we look at other countries. So if we go to Cambodia or India or Sri Lanka, so we can see also that there are some other maybe forms of Khon or some kind of performing arts that is related. So Khon is actually like a dance drama or a dance theater, and where we perform the great story of the Ramakian. So the Ramakian is the Thai version of the Ramayana. So in this epic, we have the good and the bad fighting one another. So we have actually the good side with the prince, Palam, and his army of monkeys. And then on the other side, we have the bad guys. So we have the Tosakan, who is the demon king, and his whole army of demons and giants. So they're fighting like back and forth, and through the whole story, we can learn some ideas from Buddhism, from Brahmanism as well. And yeah, so from this story, we have this art form that just emerged, just having this grand display of performers, having mix between, I guess, some male and female characters and performers as well nowadays. And yeah, so for Khon, what is really amazing is that the characters have to wear the full head mask. So where we perform on stage, we have like those costumes, which weighs about 6 to 7 kilos.
Wow.
And then we have to put on the mask as well. So we have a very restricted vision. And so yeah, so for that, since the characters and the performers on stage, they cannot speak, on the side of the stage, then we have narrators, singers, musicians. They can help to tell the story. And then the dancers on stage, they will just act it out with dance and movements. So yeah, so nowadays we have so many different versions of Khon. So you can see Khon outside. So in Thailand, we're lucky enough to have warm weather, so we can perform in a park, in a garden, so on grass, which is also very nice. Sometimes we do it in the theater. So just like maybe like some Western performing style, so we can perform there as well. And yeah, so then we have Khon in festivals. You can see Khon at funerals. You can see Khon as a performance in itself, like in Salasha Lumpung Theater. Or right now, there's also the Queen Sirikit Royal Khon performance. So during the whole month of November, there's this huge performance with hundreds of performers on stage, and is one of the more refined or very extra, like very huge performance that people can go and see as well.
As a matter of fact, I've just recently been to the Queen Sirikit showcase, and I was very fascinated by how organized and how very streamlined the show was. Yeah, it was just perfect.
Yeah, and you can see that there's a big, there's a lot of work over there. So they really try to bring, I guess, like the props and the setting to be very impressive and brings out like the details from the story. So they do have a lot of mean to create this atmosphere. They also have like this big pipat music ensemble. So usually we have maybe smaller orchestra or music ensembles to perform Khon. But when you go there, you've seen like on both sides, you have musicians and singers. So it's really nice. And you've seen also they have English subtitles. So it's also one of the challenges that we have for Khon, since the whole narration is in Thai, and not any Thai, but like old Thai, so ancient Thai with a with more royal terms. So Thai people need to know about this as well. So foreigners, it's a bit tricky to understand it. So it's like opera, I guess. So having subtitles help everyone to follow along, and it's really nice. So you liked your experience there?
Yes, definitely. Really enjoyed the show.
I have a small question from that. Is there like anyone you work with who like wear glasses while doing Khon?
That's a good question. I don't think they can wear glasses because under the mask they don't have enough space to keep their glasses on. So I do have some friends who need to wear glasses, but when they do perform, they take off their glasses and then they wear the mask on stage. So I get they get used to the kind of vision that they have on stage. What helps a little bit is it's very bright because of the lighting, but at the same time, I wouldn't know. So, but I know they can manage to perform as well.
As a follow-up question, I would like to ask, how do you envision like the Thai culture and the Western culture mixing together, like the combination. Could you please like further elaborate on your plans in collaborating with Tangible? Right?
Yeah, intangible.
Yeah, intangible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so I think one of the challenges that we face nowadays, it's really how to reach out to the audience with Khon, since it's a very detailed and there's so many elements to understand Khon as a traditional art form. Which is not bad at all. It's not negative. I think it's great that we have all those details. We just need to find, I think, the right way to present it to some new audiences so that we can reach out more people and still, I guess, respect the essence of Khon. So one of the challenges that we see nowadays with many contemporary artists is find a way how to use Khon, or I mean the technique of Thai classical dance, and bring it up so that to an international stage, so that people from everywhere, they can find something, they can connect to it. So other artists, they do their own stuff. So there are great people who do a lot of things for many years, and we just started. And from my point of view, I will keep the dancing from Khon, the technique that we learned from Khon and Nathamon together, so we can use this. And also some of the elements that I like is the fact that we use the body a lot. So the fact that we don't see faces, the fact that we really work through the body language, gestures and stuff like that, this is something that is very key to me in representing Khon in a contemporary setting. When we did the project, my last project was, it's called Machano. So it's called based on the character who is half monkey, half fish. So the son of Hanuman, the white monkey. And the idea was using French Baroque music with Khon, traditional Khon together. So what we found is we went into this project thinking that if we had artists during the Ayutthaya period, dancers from Thailand and musicians from the court of Louis XVI, if they would have met and they would have collaborated together to create a new piece or a new genre, how it would have looked. So that was the starting point, because Salini Amawat, who is another great artist, she's a musician, she's Thai, but she has the opposite life of mine. So she moved away from Thailand and then moved to Canada to pursue a career as a Baroque musician. So, and I moved here to Thailand. So then this is when we met, we just figured out we need to do something together because we have so many things that we can connect to. So that was the starting point. And then when Salini and I start thinking and working on this project, she had many ideas from the musical point of view, but she doesn't know about Khon. And I'm on the other side. So I know about Khon, but I don't know much about Baroque music. So we really had to work on how to convey the emotion through Western script, like musical notes. So from music that we wouldn't have heard here in Ayutthaya for sure. But at the same time, we knew that foreigners and a lot of people, they will recognize at least the codes of the music that we use, since it's the basic of classical music. So we knew that just from the melody, from the tones that we're gonna use, it will give us already like an emotion that we can work with. And then with the movement, we can really tell a story, and then the people will just associate both music and movements together to understand what's happening. So in this project, there's no narration, there's no lyrics. Everything is through the body and music. I also make sure that all my dancers wear masks. So even the Tuapra, Tuanang, so the male and female characters, they would wear masks as well. So that was the challenge for this project, and it worked really well. So the way that what we thought was the most important is what is the emotion, what is the message that we want to deliver. So of course we were inspired by the story of the Machano, but I think that to bring something that is more contemporary, something that is more personal to the interpretation of the performance, we try to keep it a bit abstract, so that people can just imagine their own story. So it's not that clear, actually, that it's like the story of Machanu, so how he came to to this world, and how then after that he became like a teenager. Then he learned to become a soldier working with demons, like in the city of Bandan. So we started from this, but then we also added some aspects that is more personal to me, more personal to Salini, and then mix this up all up so that you have a kind of storyline that is relating to everyone. Machano. And you can also just hear the music. The quality of the music is just amazing. And then when you look at the performers, you can just try to find some connections to your own life, maybe to the whole, like the context in Thailand, or even just about Khon and about Machanu. You have all of those different layers together. It's a really interesting project that we did. But the difficulty that we had was during COVID. So we had to change our plans, and then it became a video. So it became a whole film, an hour, 15 minutes, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we shoot in Bangkok.
Yes.
So in Wang Na. So in like the very first, like one of the oldest place where students will learn Natasin and learn the Thai dramatic arts. So just here in Wang Na. So it was very emotional and very symbolic space to record actually for this. And for the musicians, they have done the recording in Montreal, in Canada, in an old church that they transformed into a studio or into a performing space. So we mix both together visually. So we have those two spaces, and also just well represent both worlds, or our own inner dualities between good and bad, between being Canadian and being Thai. So it's so yeah. So hopefully you get the chance to see it.
Yes.
So nowadays we do send our movies to different festivals around the world. So dance film festivals, they would see our movie. So next month in December,
Yes.
we will have a screening actually in Laos. So
Wow.
they have an international dance festival over there. So it's a Phang Mekong festival, and they hold it during the beginning of December, and we'll be presenting our film over there, where I will be also performing, but that's another thing. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking a lot. Okay, so sorry.
No problem. It's absolutely.
You're really passionate about
Yes.
Yeah, no, my God, because I think even for Thai people that haven't learned Khon or haven't studied dramatic arts, it becomes more and more disconnected. It feels like something that is so old, so far away, that many Thai people, they would just look at it and just don't get it, or they just don't find interest into it because it feels like very old and ancient and so slow. I get this comment so many times. Khon is so slow and boring. How do you manage to watch it? But actually, I think it's not slow. It's just a different way to perform. It's very detailed. And so I really have this goal or dream in my head that Thai, everywhere in the world, anyone actually should be able to enjoy this kind of art form. So then what can we do? So many people, I mean, some options, they will, instead of performing like a 3 or 7 hour performance as we would perform normally, now they reduce the time. So maybe we'll only do a Khon performance for 1 hour, maybe 1 hour 30. When you went to see the Royal performance, how long was it?
I think it was shortened to about 2 to 3 hours.
That's it. So normally that they try to keep it shorter because society and people have a concentration span that is
Yeah, like it has decreased.
Exactly. So I think that performing arts, they do have to adjust.
Yeah.
And for Khon, it's a lot because we started from very long performance to something that needs to be very short. They try also to bring more action, so that we bring more fighting scenes, and then we can find like comics also released into the performance, so that it brings some levels of drama, comedy, and we also have actions. So it's a very nice mix nowadays that we see with Khon. In my point of view, I love to find those long performance because I love to see the whole process, those details, the things that we can imagine that at the court in Ayutthaya, how would the king and the royal members, how they would behave at the court. We will see this through dance because we do reproduce, we do replicate the same dynamic that we will see in royal court. So this is something that I see that is so important. Just having like I don't know, it's like having a living performance about the past, and then people can just see where do we come from, how people will behave in the past, how they would talk to one another, how it was. So this is like a history class actually, but in performance. So I think many ways to bring it, to modernize it, or to bring it to the 21st century. It's really about find your own way how to connect with people. For instance, in my film, there was one scene that we thought that was really important to us. Is the scene of the mother
scene.
Yeah. And we really wanted to show that the whole range of emotions of someone who just with pregnancy and what is to be a mother. In the story, in the Ramakian, in the Ramayana, they haven't talked about this. We don't see like how Supanamacha, the mother, felt when she was impregnated, and how did she feel that her father, the king of demons, will feel with Hanuman, like they're being enemies. But Supanamacha, she felt in love with Hanuman, so she's very conflicted. And then just to know that she has to raise her child alone because Hanuman already had left because he had some duty to do afterward. So this whole thing, this whole range of emotions that she has to bear, and we never see it on stage. So we thought, why not see this?
That's a good point.
That's it. So then we thought that this is something that talks to women and to men as well nowadays. How do we feel about this? And how do people connect? How do we go through this whole process of pregnancy? And then at the end also having to sacrifice and having just to leave her kid there. And she knows her duty. She knows what she has to do, but she still she needs to do it. So that's one of the idea. We thought that, okay, let's try to connect emotions or situation that we have nowadays so that people can relate to the scene. Even if the whole way we perform it, it's still Natasin, it's still Khon, it's still like very, like in this frame of the dance code. Yeah. Everything is respected with the costumes. Is it okay? So it's okay, no problem. And so that's it. This is my way. I think if we can find some scenes that can relate to people nowadays, like situation, conflict, ethics, questions that we have, and then we can connect with the storyline of the Ramakian. I think this is, for me, this is the thing that is important and interesting. Actually, it's the same as we do in the West. When you see Shakespeare, or when you look at Greek tragedies, they're very old texts. But now, why do we still watch those? Why are they still relevant in the 21st century? So there's something there. There's a message. There's something that is interesting to learn from those old texts and those from old art forms. It's just need to find the connection so that people can find it interesting, they can relate to it, and they can just feel as the actor or the dancer on stage. So that was, I think, my whole challenge and what I really wanted to achieve. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's not over. It's just the first project. There are many others, and but it's inspiring when you look at the other artists in Bangkok. They're really amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
totally agree.
So that's it. They have different ways to
showcase.
Yes, they do it in their own ways. Some others they will really work on. Maybe it's on the costumes, how they use the costumes to make it maybe more up to date. And some others, they will try to take the mask off and try to do something else.
I totally agree because nowadays we should learn to modify all the modifications and incorporate the sense of relatability between the audiences and the artists that really captivates and is the key major points that would draw people's interest.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
I think it
Yeah.
definitely is. Yeah.
So you see, and for instance, we did choose also to not have any use of narration and lyrics, to open it to the world.
Yeah.
So
Make
that's
it more international.
exactly. So anyone who speaks any languages, they can still enjoy this kind of performance without having us to have the burden to find the ways how, oh, we need subtitles. Oh, we need to have maybe we need to translate the lyrics and we need to sing in English. Or we need to there was always something. And right from the beginning, because being from Canada, we already have two languages. So we already have French and English that we need to use. And then there was Thai as well. So we had three languages and trying to find a way how to connect all those three together for those three different audiences. So that was hard. So this is why at the end we just said, okay, let's focus on the movement, focus on the music, make it more open.
Yes.
Of course, if you talk about what is Khon, you need this. You need narration. You need lyrics because it's art. It's like poems. It's it's beautifully written. You have those lyrics that just the wording is so beautiful, and sometimes I feel like it's a pity that I don't use it in my performance. So this is why I think the next project will find other ways to bring also this aspect of Khon into a contemporary performance. But it's a never-ending challenge. But I think more and more today, people get more exposed to Khon as before. So there are more opportunities for Thai people actually to see Khon. So that was the first challenge because it takes so many people. You need dancers, musicians, singers, narrators. You need people who can do masks, can do costumes, they can do the props.
True.
So it takes always a lot of people and a lot of resources to have a Khon performance. So, but today they have there are some people working on this to just bring Khon to more people. And then we do tour around Thailand. So nowadays we have other provinces who they don't have a lot of opportunities to see Khon, that they can see it more. And as you said, you learn Khon as well. So nowadays people get short courses or small workshops that you can learn the basic of Khon and just try to understand this universe a little bit more. And this will help you then to go and see Khon and enjoy it as well.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, as we talked, the most difficult thing is at what point it's not considered Khon. So you see, if you take off a lot of things,
Different elements.
It will not be Khon.
is it still Khon? So that's the thing that I think this is the tension that we have.
Yes.
That we're always looking for a way how to preserve the form, how to make sure to respect the whole heritage that we have, but at the same time how to renew it in some ways so that people can enjoy those new kind of Khon and still enjoy the traditional Khon that is this form that we have. It's tricky. It's not easy. It could be argued that what I did with my film is not Khon, actually, because it's not. Because there's no narration, there's no lyrics, the costumes are different. We're not following the
Traditional form.
traditional form, the setting, the angles that we perform, all the traditions and beliefs that we have to do normally in a traditional performance. We didn't respect all of it. So it can be argued in another way that it's not Khon actually. But depending on who you're talking to or what is your perception of it.
This is definitely a debatable topic.
Yes.
And I think when you increase accessibility to the art itself by providing more opportunities for audiences and youth to go see Khon and just learn what the traditional way is this will increase understanding, which will lead to people, learning about the art more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think
Could you share a little about your journey to becoming a Khon performer in Thailand?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I didn't talk about this, but right from the beginning, I was an exchange student when I was about your age, I think. So when I was about 17, 18, I had the opportunity to be an exchange student in Sukhothai. So I was with the Rotary Club in Canada, and then I applied actually to go to any country with Buddhism. That was my passion. I was really interested into Buddhism, and I don't know why. If you ask my parents, they wouldn't know either, because they didn't raise me as a Christian. They didn't raise me with any religion, but for one reason or another, I started to research on that. I was so interested, and then I applied to come to Thailand because I knew here they would have like 98% of Buddhists. But then when I arrived, they assigned me to Sukhothai, and over there they didn't have any exchange students before. They didn't have any people who learned Khon or anything like that. So it was the beginning. And then I arrived there at Sukhothai Wityakhom School, the school next to Vidyalai Natasena Sukhothai. And then this is where I started, like, teacher would just tell me, Benjamin, you're staying here for 1 year. You should definitely learn about Thai culture, anything. So they said, like, you should learn maybe Thai drawing, Muay Thai, Thai cooking. Like, they gave me some, like, different classes for many things. Ranat, I did study Ranat also. But then when I went to Vidyalai Natasena, this is really when I saw, like, my friends, but at that time I didn't know them, but they were just like doing some warm-up. So they were wearing the jangkaben, so the traditional pants that we wear for learning Khon, and they were doing the tensao, so they were just warming up, dancing, like stepping on the spot, very like simple stuff. But as soon as I saw it, I was so intrigued, and I was really like, I said, what's that? I really want to do this. Like, it looks so cool. And I didn't know about Khon. I didn't see the costumes. I didn't hear the music, nothing. Just tensao and like my call. That's the only thing I had. And I already was hooked. And then I started with this. And then they interview me. They measure my body as well. So they need to know about, at least, I was already 18. But they knew, like, just from looking at me, they assigned me to be a monkey. I didn't choose it. I wouldn't know which character to study, but they saw from my personality that I was someone who likes to play. I'm very friendly, like easygoing, and they figured out that my personality fits the monkey character, and this is how it started. And then I started studying Khon like every day. I wanted to learn so much that I studied like with the Matayom 1, 2, and 3 in the morning, and I would study with Matayom 4, 5, and 6 in the afternoon. And then after class, I would also study, just practicing by myself. So doing this every day, from Monday to Friday, until my goal was to get on stage. I really wanted to be on stage and perform with my friends. That's the only thing I wanted. At what point I've been good enough, so I learned my basics. I learned Nathamon, so we learned like the really basic movements. Once you've done that, then you can call Piti Waiku, so you can go and pay respect to the masters and teachers at the annual ceremony. And this allows you to go up into the hierarchy of dance. And then you can learn like the sacred dance. You can learn more important roles and characters. So that was something very special at the time. I think my teacher, Hu Somchai Yim Yem, said like I might have been maybe like the first white foreigner who did the Piti Waiku at that time. I think there was one other Japanese dancer, female dancer, who came to Thailand and learned about Khon before me, but that was it. So it was really new, and nobody really knew like it's part of history or maybe not. So we didn't know. But then I had to go back home after that. But I had the chance to perform. I think I was like the flag holder in one performance. I've been the Rachasi, so I was pulling like the cart of Tosakan as well. And after that, I think I did like Japman. So I think these are maybe like the 3 first performances I had in this first year. But then I had to go back to Canada. My parents didn't want me to pursue dancing. They were afraid they were afraid for future. as you know, being a dancer is maybe not like the safest career path for young students, but I went back home. I studied to become a teacher, high school, and social studies and ethics. And then after 10 years, I missed my friend from Thailand. I thought, why not come back and see where they are? Maybe they have families, maybe they became dancers, I don't know. So I came back, and I never left. I came back, I think I came back around like mid-December, 10 years ago. And my friend at the time had a performance in a village near Sukhothai. So I went there, and then he said, come on, Ben, you should dance. Come and like play Khon with me. And I'm like, I didn't play, like I didn't dance for 10 years. Like I don't remember, I couldn't do it. But he was really insisting. He was like, come on, it's easy, just do it, like it's fun. So then I went on stage, and then right at that moment, I knew that this is what I missed this so much. I didn't think about it for 10 years. I was like just living my life in Canada, being a teacher, and you know, like there's a feeling, like you knew that you miss something, but you don't know what it is. And it's not something that is, you're missing it so bad that you feel sad or you're not happy, but you know that there's something missing to your life. And then it's really when I put on the costumes again, and then I went on stage, and then I knew that was the feeling. That was what I was looking like this whole time. There was something just missing in my life, and I switched, and then I decided I will stay. So then I talked to my teacher in Sukhothai. I want to pursue my career in dance. What could I do? He said, Ben, you're already old. You should move to Bangkok, maybe to pursue a master degree in Khon. And he introduced me to the national artist Krupasit Pinkeo, the monkey master who passed away last year, and cooking as well. So I did study with like two amazing, like really professional artists of Khon, of monkey character. I did study at Bandit Patanasin Institute with the undergrad students, just to learn, like to keep practicing. So same thing. In the morning, I would study with the P.6, so with the undergrad first year, second year, third year. So I did this for 3 years. Like I did the full curriculum 3 times, full of it. And then that was a very intense moment. This is where I was performing a lot with the college, performing with the fine art department at the National Theatre, performing for the royal members at Salashalom Kung Theatre. So everything happened so fast because as soon as I came to Bangkok, I passed the audition to Salashalom Kung. I passed the exam for master degree at Bandit Patanasin, and that was it. My whole world was Khon, 24 hours a day, because if I was free, I was going to study Khon. So Bandit Patanasin. Then in the evening, Monday and Wednesday, I would go to Thammasat University and study Khon in the evening. And then Tuesday and Thursday, I would go to Ramkhamhaeng University to study Khon over there. And then on Sunday morning, I would go to Sathaban Kuklit, so Kuklit Institute in Silom to study in the morning. So this is like, that was for 3 or 4 years, that was my whole life. And then after that, I started to expand, and I started working with contemporary dance companies. Well, this is where I met Mr. Pichet Kangshun and GT Shampi. So both of them are artists, and they have their own contemporary dance company. And they often use the basic of Thai classical dance as dance vocabulary that they introduce into their own performance. So I had the opportunity to travel the world and go perform in Beijing, in Buenos Aires, in Den Haag, in the Netherlands. So I've been to so many different places to promote contemporary Thai dance, I guess. So then after a few years of that, 3-4 years again, then I had this whole baggage of, okay, so I love traditional Khon and I love contemporary project. I don't know what to choose. I don't know if I have to choose, actually. So I just kept doing what I'm doing. So I love to perform traditional Khon. I just went to like a Loikathong festival in Sukhothai, and it's so great. Like it's just amazing. It's really lovely. The feeling that we have when we perform traditional Khon is different than contemporary. I feel like traditional Khon is really about preserving an old art form, and it's really about Thai identity. It's really about traditions. It's about it's also beliefs and the it's a really tricky, it's not easy to explain, but there's something every time that I do perform this that fills me up. It's really like I do participate actively in this long chain of artists who did perform Khon for 600, 700 years. And I'm just this small part, like just there, just keep dancing. Just like my teacher, my fathers, my grandfathers, like all of those teachers, that they did perform the same way that I'm doing right now. And my whole goal, every time I get on stage, I just want to make them proud. I'm just imagining like all of them watching me and just making sure that I'm respecting the art form. It's believable. It's good quality. It's well done, and it can just ignite the same passion, the same love for Khon with some people in the audience. So if we reach to that, I know that I can reach like maybe 1 or 2 people, and it's fine. Maybe it's just only 1 or 2, but I know that I did a small part of it. That just 1 or 2 people, they will remember and they will just, wow, Khon is amazing. I really want to watch more and I want to learn more. And when you do contemporary project, it's different. You just try to bring people to reflect on their lives and on their own path through the medium of Khon. So I'm using Khon as a platform maybe, or something that helps me to communicate some ideas I have. So the main goal, I'm not thinking about, it's not the same purpose, but in the same time, I try to respect the Khon and traditions. But the main thing that I really want you to get from this contemporary piece is more the reflection, the questioning, the exactly what we talk. Like, maybe I'm just asking you again, like, what is Khon actually? So, so yeah, that was the whole journey of it.
Wow.
Until the last maybe step, or where I am at the moment. It's really about creating my own work, have international collaborations with other artists, trying to bring the art form to another form or another way of doing things. And yeah, so I'm working on that while teaching.
Yeah, I think I can just feel your energy and passion about Khon just like radiating from you.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It has been like continuously resonating throughout this interview.
Yeah.
Yes, we can sense it through the way you passionately
I love
tell the
Khon.
story.
But it is. People ask me like why I'm living here, but I'm living here because of Khon. It's really the main reason why I'm living in Thailand.
Wow.
When people ask me like why do you live here, or why have you been living here for 10 years, it's Khon, and that's it. If I didn't have Khon, I don't know, there's no reason for me to I want to say there's no reason, but it's the main, it's my whole life is this. I really want to keep working with Khon and try to refine it, try to find new ways. I'm thinking about every aspects of it, even the training. Sometimes I did my master on how to train, like how to train your body to make it even better to perform Khon as the monkey character. So I felt like my body sometimes missed some stretching or some strengthening exercises that could help me to perform longer or better on stage. So then I start thinking, so why can I use like some contemporary techniques that I learned and bring them and adapt them so that it comes into this Khon training that we have. So how can I develop those exercises and bring it to me? How can I develop like some movements? I find it so difficult to do, and I see some dancers that they do struggle with this as well. So what can I do that is not just like doing it over and over and over? So of course you can do like some drills and you can learn the steps through the drills, and it's the way we learned in the past. But I feel like nowadays we learn so much more about dance science and we understand the body more. So the way to stretch and the way to warm our bodies, the way to strengthening them, they're so good exercises, but they're not for sports. I need them to be for Khon, not ballet, not football, but for Khon. What do I need? So it brings me in so many different ways. Like I talk to pianists, and they stretch their fingers a lot because they need to expand them so that they can really reach like big like notes on the keyboard. So then they were talking to me about like the kind of exercises they would do to strengthening and stretch their fingers. And I said, that's perfect. We need this because when we perform Khon, we need those very stretched fingers. And nowadays, the way we stretch, but we stretch like very traditional way. So I guess you learned this as well when you learn Khon well. So you have to stretch. But then I thought, what can I do to make it maybe like strengthen them as well? Because when we have to hold the position for a long time, sometimes when you get tired, your fingers, they don't go as well. You will feel it. Like you will say like, oh, it doesn't go anymore. Like you're just like,
The hardest parts.
That's it. So you see, so when I thought about it, I said, what can I do? So then I start picking some tricks from like musicians. So which exercise do they do? When I look at ballet, how do they have like this perfect turnout with their legs? So these exercises, how can we adapt it to make it our own for Khon and then make it even better, like stronger position, perfect turnout. Like you can hold your fingers and it's nice. So all of this, I'm trying to build like something like a cursus or a program that people can just bring to their own training. And then when they feel like their body is not, I don't feel strong enough or I have some issues with this position, they can use it and then they can develop themselves even further. So yeah, I'm very passionate about every aspect of Khon.
Of like bringing Khon culture to like Canada or like introducing it to people from.
Yeah. So I had the chance, I think, really before COVID. So I think 4 or 5 years ago, I went back to Canada for the first time to perform Khon, and I was invited by Mrs. Kai Whitcomb. So she is Thai as well. And she moved there because she's married to a Canadian. So she passed her life there. But she founded like the Thai dance troupe of Ottawa about, I think, 50, like a very long time ago, I think 40 years ago. And so she invited me to join their performances, and she bring me there so that I can teach a little bit about Khon, a little bit about the monkey. And we did tour in some cities. So we went to Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec, and we did perform a little bit of Khon over there. So it was really nice. Hopefully, I'm hoping in the next years, now that COVID passed, that it will be easier also, that we can bring more artists over there to the stage. And then, so hopefully we'll get more and more opportunities in Canada. And so yeah, I'm working on that.
I would like to ask a follow-up question.
Sure.
So like, what are your thoughts on how Canadians or the audiences, like international individuals, think of Khon when you went to perform there in Canada?
They're fascinated. Generally, the people I've seen, it's so exotic. It's for them, it's something that is very new to them. They don't have any point of comparison. So they're very excited about this. The mask they see the work. I think they see the details, and they can really imagine that it takes a while to make, even if they don't know. It's like it's so shiny, so detailed, many lines, all of this, and so they're very. They always have like this, wow, what's this? And then they hear the music, and then they don't understand because the melody that we use, the rhythm that we have, is a completely different system than a Western classical system. So then they get confused, and then they have difficulty to follow the storyline with traditional Khon because they don't see, is this a demon or is it a monkey? Usually, like if you're not used to it, it feels like monstery, like both sides. Like they feel like, ah. And then when they see a male being having as much makeup as the prince nowadays, same thing. They don't know, is it a female or is it a male? So they're a bit, they don't seem to grasp everything from those performances. But yeah, they love it. They will look at it like till the end. They really like look at the details, and since they don't understand the narrations or the lyrics, they pay even more attention to the action. So they really try to guess and what is happening there, and why are they walking so slow, and then they like so it. But generally speaking, people are really interested. They ask a lot of questions. They want to learn. They want to understand it. They are fascinated by the whole the beliefs and traditions that we have as well, to pay respects to the masters and teachers, stuff like that. Yeah, I had great experiences. Just great. People are really nice.
And they're like, this is like so slow. Good.
I think that they don't, not yet. They don't know, they cannot compare to anything. So usually they don't know is it always this slow? They don't comment on that. They will just assume that
It's the way it is.
yeah, it's the way it is. Like it's just, we should take it as it is. But at the same time, they never had the chance to see a whole like 6-7 hour long performance.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. Yeah. So that's still in my mind. We'll find a way. But,
You've mentioned how you continuously practiced Khon when you came to Thailand. You went to different universities to search for teachers and advisors who could help you with like the training, right?
Yep.
So like, how do you not lose motivation? Since like when you become very hardworking, it oftentimes leads to like you experiencing burnout. So what sort of advice would you like to give to students who might like put in too much effort at first and then experience like burnout later on?
That's a good question. I guess for me, it is not something that you can manage like this. As any passion, I think, like many students, they have like a passion, they love it. I never felt like it's training.
Wow.
No, I never felt like I have to do this. I never felt it's not today, I'm tired. Like, no, like you just want more and more and more. So I don't have any issues with that. I feel like, no, I think it's just a perspective. You just need to switch your mindset. I think it's harder if you don't have a passion, because now you have to do something that you're not really passionate about, and you're like, okay, I'll do it. But then you have to pace yourself, you need to find tricks. For Khon, nothing. I think if you have a passion, go with it. Just go as far as you can. Just keep going. It brings you joy. For me, that's the whole, like, it's like breathing. I'm doing it and it's just like, I need this. I want to do it. It's, I never felt like it was sacrificing something. It just felt natural, and you need to do it. Is there anything I should say about this? I don't know. I'm really, if I have a passion and I want to pace myself, be careful. No. I would say, like, just surround yourself with other as passionate people.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think this is the best. When you have like people that surrounds you that love the same thing as you do, you can just nourish one another and just like bring it even further or even better. I feel like this is the best. Like when I go with my friends and then we go to perform anywhere, that's the best moment. Like you have like this human experience, and it's really warm, and everyone is just like, and it's a family. Like it's a really small community. We all know each other, very tight, and they really care. Like we really care to one another, like family members. And you can debate, you can talk with them, like because they're as passionate. So when we talk about like what is Khon, what am I doing? Is it okay or is it not okay? So then we can discuss this, and they all have like this different perspective on it, and we can just all, how can I make it better? How I don't have difficulties doing this part. Like how could you help me out? Like we always relating about Khon, and always about something about Khon. And so yes, I think I feel like I would be very lonely or maybe not as happy if I didn't have those people around me. So I think that's it. The key thing is surround yourself with people, good people that are passionate, and they're kind of my idols as well. Like they're kind of people that I look at and I'm like, they're so good. Like they're dancing so well. They're very dedicated. They're respectful. They take care of their masters. They take care of their students. So I think this just like brings even more of your good side out. So it's just perfect. It's the same. If you're passionate about interviews and meeting people like that, so you surround yourself with people who think like you, and then just bring the whole thing like even further, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like surrounding us with people who are equally passionate and like-minded really motivates you, and like so we can like go go on this journey together and help each other along the way.
Don't pace yourself. Like it's a passion. Like it's so good. Like it's just so positive. It's like why living if you if you don't enjoy those kind of great things about life and about being human? I think that's the whole thing.
How are you perceived differently as an international Khon performer?
Yeah, I would like to add, were there any like language barriers or stereotypes that you were put into? Like, like as a foreigner or a traveler or an international performer, there are oftentimes like connotations that are sticked to those terms. So do you think this like makes your experience as a Khon performer like different from others?
For sure. I think my experience is different because I was the only foreigner for a very long time. So I think from the beginning, people in Sukhothai, they were really welcome. It was the first time they had a foreigner, but I never felt I was a part or I was different or was treated differently than the others. If the teacher, they will hit you a little bit just to size yourself and make sure that your position is right, they will hit me as well. It's the same. Like it's not like they didn't have a different way to teach me. I was studying with the same level of students, like everyone, and then doing like I have to tensao for 20 minutes, so I tensao for 20 minutes.
Wow.
So
they have the same standard for everyone.
Same standards. They didn't make it easier for me. They didn't. They didn't. I didn't feel like they kept it for themselves. I didn't feel like, like he's a foreigner, I shouldn't
teach him as much.
I should because I don't know in the future maybe he will do something with it that is not good or whatever. No, I never felt like something like that. They did respect the curriculum, so you had to learn like meta. If you study meta, you can PTY cool, so you can learn playing part, and then you learn the playing part like step by steps. So I followed it along, And the only thing in the beginning that was difficult, I wasn't speaking Thai.
Oh, okay. So that was like the language barrier aspect of it.
Exactly. So at the really beginning, that was a bit tricky. But at the same time, dancing is all about movements. So we didn't really have to talk. I just need to reproduce the same movements that I see my friends doing. So since it's very physical, it started really well. And I would say actually it helped me to learn Thai a lot more.
Okay.
Because nothing in English, so you don't have any choice. It has to be in Thai. So my teachers, my friends, they didn't speak English. I had to learn it. If I wanted to learn Khon, I did to speak with them and being able to understand what they're saying. And this perfect every day they will talk and say the same thing. If I have to count, because I have to count the steps, so then I have to learn in Thai. So that I learn the counting, and then I learned the verbs like yaw, like squat, like. So you learn all those things through Khon. That was perfect, and I even learned about a very Thai traditional way of learning. So why cool? You have to, like, your head is always lower than your master's head. So every time when Khon students, we sit on the floor, we walk on the floor. I learned I'm so thankful and grateful for this, because I don't think a foreigner has the opportunity to really go as deep into traditions and beliefs as I had the chance to. So I'm really, that brings me like a different perspective on the whole Thai culture. But so in the beginning, I think language, a bit tricky, but we could go through it. Being different in Sukhothai, I didn't feel anything. I think the main thing that happened is when I moved back and I came to Bangkok, because here nobody knew me, so I had to start over again. So have people knowing, okay, so he's a foreigner, but he know Khon. That was very strange. Like, people just like, you should have seen the faces of the people at the desk at the counter at Sarat Chalam Kung when I came the first time, because I just came, like, I was like, I come for the audition for Khon, and they were like, what? How did you know about? How did you know about this? And how can you just apply? You have the basis of Khon, like it was just very funny. But then they give me a chance, so they really like the masters, the teachers, they accept me. They taught me like any other students, and everything like just like a snowballing. Everything went really, really fast. My friends, people saw me, asked me questions, they saw me perform, and then it just kept going and going. But I would say that still today, the language is always, I think, the most difficult, because when you have to learn like a part where you have a lot of lyrics, a lot of narrations, you have to learn all of it and understand it, remember it, and those words are not everyday words, so you don't like. Maybe sometimes it take a bit more time to remember those. But other than that, I would say like, I think the challenges are the same for many dancers, and we all have to find a way how to make it a career. So how can we live out of our art here in Thailand? That's the most challenging. Even if I'm a foreigner, it's the same. We all have to find ways how to make sure you can work, you keep training, you're still fit, so you can still dance, you can do it well. It's a bit challenging, I would say, but like anyone else, it's the same thing. Other than that, challenge of being an international Khon performer, the perspective. When people see your body, they already assume something about yourself. So seeing my body and then seeing me moving as a Thai performer, it's something that the audience, that people who don't know me, they need to do this switch. There's a moment, like they have to, what's that? So that's the main thing I would say, that now people and identity-wise, like what am I? Like being this foreigner, but like also like moving really like into Khon, because I didn't learn dancing before that.
Oh.
So I wasn't ballet trained. I wasn't a contemporary dancer. I was a Khon dancer, and then I started to do something different. But
Wow.
so yeah, I would say something that is challenging, I think, for everyone. Same. Yeah.
So like other than your parents, are there like anyone else who are like, no, you shouldn't do Khon?
No. My parents, they said pause.
Oh.
Yeah, they said finish your undergrad program, and as soon as you get your diploma, you can do whatever you want. They just wanted me to have like a safe career. So
Like
and
a
it's
safeguard.
understanding, and I was fine at the time. Don't forget, it was like 20 years ago. It was
Oh.
like there were not much internet. Like cell phones were just starting. Like it was another time. So at that moment, like thinking of a dance career was really like stressful for them, and they would just want to make sure, okay, but you always talk that you wanted to be a teacher, so just like finish this and then we'll see. And that's it. And then when I came back, they are so supportive. Everybody's so supportive. My friends in Canada, they're amazed by it. They were like, how can you just like from where you were to this? Like it's pretty unbelievable. But yeah, people are nice. People are, especially I think the older generation in Thailand. They're always so emotional, very thankful, very grateful when they see me. They feel like they always thank you so much for preserving the art form. Thank you so much for being here and have your passion contribute to the art. So it's really, really lovely. It's always really great to have all those Thai people sharing. Like they just they're like my fan club. They just cheer for me. They just want me to do good and keep going. And so I just feel love. A lot of people just want me to keep going it. So I keep doing it.
Yeah.
What made you decide to like pursue for form? Like, what did you love about Khon particularly?
Yes, I've been asked this a lot. What do I love about Khon particularly? For me, it's really about, as I said, I think it's a glance into the past. I love like imagining like the way that we perform today is something that looks pretty similar to how it was performed in the past, like all those years. So I love this. I love the fact that it's a dance form, it's also theater. I think this is what intrigued me in the beginning. I think as a foreigner at first, as a teenager, I thought like it was only about ballet and being beautiful and graceful and like those very romantic, like Romeo and Juliet and then like Sleeping Beauty, like those ideas. That was dance for me at that time. So when I saw Khon, and I was like, wow, they're fighting. Like they have acrobatics, like it's almost gymnastic for the monkey. Like it's so fun, and then you have weapons and you tell a storyline. Like everything was so different than what I thought was dance at that time that I was really intrigued by this. So something that I think some people can also get interested in, the fact that there's like some fightings and all those characters. So I really like it. I love also the challenge of being a monkey.
Oh.
This is like, for me, it's like 3 layers. So you have to be animalistic. So you really look like this natural monkey, scratching, moving, trying to be like this animal. Then you have the layer of being a soldier. So you have the shape, like the presence of someone like a drill or a soldier.
Like the posture.
That's it. Like you really, and you have a lot of movements also that is really military-like. Like when we walk, like the whole army together and the fighting. This is like, for me, something, another layer that we bring to the character. And then the last one is really the aesthetic and the beauty of Thai dance. The code, the lines, the gracefulness of Thai classical dance. We need to have all of those 3 layers together. So this is the challenge. Like, it's not being only beautiful, but you need to be this animal that's trying to be beautiful while trying to be a soldier at the same time.
Wow.
And this is interesting. This is a really cool and very personal interpretation of how do you manage to balance those three aspects together on stage. So yes, I'm really interested about this. I'm really interested about also like how the costumes, my God, like if you look all of this, like people who love the art, like visual arts, that like there's so much to look at. Like the making of the mask, the making of the costumes, so elaborate, so many options. Like the colors, the threads, the journs, the patterns they're gonna use. So many things they can do, and and nowadays there are so different versions that it's beautiful. It's really nice. And and as I said, also for me, the lyrics, the narration, it's like poetry. So it's another art form that you can learn. Like, why do they use those words? The rhymes that they're using, the connection between the words. It's everything. Everything is fascinating. There's no, how you say this? You never see the whole picture. There's always something new that you can scratch and see. Oh, there's even this and that and then that. And have you seen that? Have you read the Ramakian? Like, how many characters are there? Like, there's so many things, so many storylines. So I'm always keep to learn a bit more. Like, I just went to Sukhothai, and then they have like this scene with another demon that I said, oh, which one is it already? I forgot this one. It's like, oh yeah, I saw it like many years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and then you just remember. But you see, like, even you can always surprise yourself with, oh, there's this as well. So this is why I think it's interesting, and the details, the whole of it. Like, it's, yes, I don't know how to, but yeah, I think in summary, you can just look Khon and all of it. There's a story behind it. Like, there's always a reason. And there are all those traditions, the beliefs that we have also in this small community that do Khon and Natasim. It's also very interesting to learn and to practice and to use. So yes, I suggest to everyone, any Thai people actually, just learning about this, you get to understand like why do we still behave this way nowadays. We see the evolution. So
Absolutely.
Since Khon performance depict the story of Ramakian, what do you think are the key takeaways from the anecdote?
wow. Okay. So as I said, when we talk about Khon, we have the story of the Ramakian, and each chapters they would have a different story, like smaller storylines in those chapters. Usually at the end, it's always like some kind of a Buddhist lesson that you can take from those chapters. So it's very the Ramakian, I think, from my understanding, is very different from the Ramayana, because from our side, it's 99% always a happy ending. So the storyline, we always have the good will win at the end. Bad, you will fall. What is interesting is when you look at the interaction of Tosakan. So every time Tosakan follows his desire, he will get something bad happen. So if he follows his passion, like his very like heated heart, and I want Nang Sida. So he wants to catch it, he gets it, but then this whole story happens. He wants the glass chariot, so he steals it from his uncle, and then bad things happen again. So it's always, I think, the takeaway if you follow the storyline of Tosakan. Desire is not to be followed. You should follow your head. Think before doing something. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's really something that you can take from the Ramakian.
That Tosakan have 10 faces.
Yeah. Many options for him. But yeah, I think sometimes also what is difficult is this, the fact that if we don't adapt the Ramakian to nowadays, it becomes more and more difficult for people, for contemporary people, to find the hidden meaning behind the story of the Ramakian. Because it becomes a bit disconnected from our reality. But at the same time, the message that is there is the same as when I said we look at Greek tragedy or Shakespeare's, and we can still feel and we have the same moral or ethics dilemmas in those stories. We just need to take those to be a bit clearer for contemporary audience. If we can do that, then the story makes sense and it's still relevant to everyone, and then we can learn something from it. But yeah, so I think the takeaways from those should be mainly about like ethics, your duty also as someone in society. So as a citizen, what is your duty? Nowadays, we have a lot of individualism. We always focus on our need, our own selves. We try to become our better selves, and but we really focus in our discourse. We really focus on the community and on our responsibility as a member of that community. So it's something that I hope we can take from this and help contemporary people to come back together more than what we are going in the other direction, I feel. So I think hopefully this can help.
So hopefully the art brings people together, and it's also a way of conveying Buddhism, like messages or ethical takeaways as well.
I mean, I think the Ramakian is telling it. Yeah, a lot of the story and the takeaways is really about Buddhist teaching. But then in a secular society, for the whole world, we need to find a way how to adapt it.
Yes.
Maybe to take it more as an ethic, as something that is good for society in general.
Also applicable as well.
And not maybe necessarily being just Buddhist, but being more open.
Yeah.
Even those ideas are similar.
Yes.
Then just the context of the way to bring it out makes it more acceptable for some people. But yeah.
Based on your experience, why do you think it is important to, showcase Khon in Thai culture?
Why? My God, it's like the Ramakian is it has influenced every aspect, every cultural form in Thailand has been affected or has been influenced by the Ramakian in some way or another. Painting, architecture, poems. You look at dance, music, you see the paintings in Wapakeo, like everything. Ramakian has so much influence in the roots of Thai culture that Khon has to be part of this landscape. Like it's just obvious. Khon is there. The other thing is, of course, it's from the royal palace. So it's a royal art form that developed only for the king in the past, and for about 100 years now, it's been open to the whole society, so to everyone. So for me, today, even though we have like this past from the palace, I feel that today it's an art form of everyone. Like it's not I want to say like it's the palace ownership of this art form. It's everyone's. So if it's everyone, so then everyone has responsibility to take care of it, doing nice things to it, to make sure to preserve, making sure to promote it well, respecting it and helping it. So so why would that be an important key to Thai culture? Because it's like the
Root.
yes,
The foundation.
It's kind of I want to say it's the foundation of everything, but it's like it brings so many different art forms all together in one art form.
Oh.
That by doing Khon, you help to support all those artisans, like all those people working related about Khon and about those art forms. So the making of mask is not wasted, it's not lost because we still have Khon. Mm-hmm. The making of the costumes that are based on the costumes of the royal family in the Ayutthaya period, we're still making them because we have Khon and dancing.
Yeah, true. It combines a lot of things.
That's it. So like all the art form that you saw like at the Queen Silikit performance, when you see like even the props, the setting, the lines that are used, it's traditional Thai lines. Like it's the aesthetic that we keep and it's still alive and still refreshed with new colors and new patterns and stuff like that. So it's very important, I think, to support. Just supporting Khon helps to support like everything around it. So not only the art form, but the makers as well. Mm-hmm. So you support artists, artisans, and people can still live and work properly while supporting Khon as well.
I totally agree because by supporting Khon, we're also providing job opportunities for those that are artisans, artists, and I think by encouraging the government to fund art projects like these and showcasing it to the public, this will also increase job opportunities, as you've mentioned, like how Khon sort of is the major kind of way that provides
cool,
more.
Right? It's like
right.
this.
It's the core.
That's it. So for me, it's good. Like not only for this, but it's the when we talk about like Thai history, Thai identity, Thai culture, all those, Khon is part of it.
Yeah.
It's maybe not like the contemporary actual Thai society of today, but if you look and you understand like all of this in the past, this will help you to understand the issues that we have today. For sure. So this is why, like, even for why do you need to study history, or why do you need to understand like the past of your nation, of culture, because of that. If you want to know where you're going forward or where you're going to go next, you need to understand first what was in the back. So then Khon was there and it's still there, and where is it going in the future? So then you need to look at the whole thing. So you need this, and it's so. And as I said, like it's so different from other art forms that we see around the world. It has like a very nice uniqueness to it that it should be valued. It needs to be properly safe and properly displayed, I think, so that we can keep going and having for many, many other years. When we look at Japan, like they're preserving kabuki and they have like their own traditional art forms that are really well preserved. When you look at ballet, this is like another completely different path. Ballet is everywhere. Everywhere in the world you can learn ballet. But when it started, it was also a royal art form in France. So then it depends really of Thai society and what are we going to do with Khon in the future? Are we going to preserve it as it is, like in the fixed model, like kabuki, or are we going to open it up and become something that is completely different, secular maybe, not beliefs and traditions, and become something more like ballet or maybe more yoga? You see, like those traditions is everywhere. Anybody can do yoga now. Anybody can do ballet. And they don't think about the beliefs, or they don't think about like the history of it, or like it could be something like this as well. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that for the future of Khon,
yes,
it could go this direction. Maybe it can go in both directions at the same time, and it's fine. Like it's just depend on each person and how do we preserve, how do we contribute to the art form.
There are obviously so many deviations and pathways that Khon can take, and And as you've mentioned earlier, Khon also showcases how the art has influenced our contemporary society. So I would like to ask a question based on your response on how do you think Khon has showcased or has represented the issues, like the social issues that we see in the status quo?
Okay, so nowadays, when we do perform traditional Khon, we really focus on the storyline of the Ramakian. So the idea is not a contemporary performance that is talking or trying to tackle some contemporary issues.
Yes.
It's not about that. If we're doing a performance, Pali Sonnong, so the Pali teaching his younger brother, even though the text is this very old poem that we have, and it's teaching, the older brother is teaching his younger brother how to behave as a perfect monarch, as a good prince. So he's learning the good ways, how to be the way in the middle, like the middle path, like the Buddhist middle path, like how you don't go into extremes, you preserve the middle ground. So you see this kind of performance that we do, very few people will extract from this an idea that it can apply to themselves. Very little, because you don't have the whole scene, you don't have the whole context of it. We play just this small chapter. So we don't know what was before, we don't know how it goes after, we just see like this window, that's it. So those people who can extract and they can think about it, they can analyze it, usually they know about the Ramakian, they know the whole storyline and they will pick about things like that. So I would say that if you go to the Queen Sirikit performance, if you go to say performance during a festival, if you're going to a funerals or stuff like that, the main takeaway you will have, it's mainly about the art form, about how Khon is done. It's a entertainment, as ballet, opera would be an entertainment. So you enjoy the performance, you enjoy the beauty of it, the action on stage, what is happening with the characters. But maybe it's not the main purpose. It's not about, let's think about like, I don't know, the climate change.
Yeah,
idea.
that's possible.
You see, so it's not that perspective that we have. But if we're going back to what I was talking about, something that I would be interested in would be how can I use the Ramakian and talk about those issues of climate change.
Like recognizing the interconnectedness between Ramakian and global
That's
issues in our society that's like becoming very prevalent.
That's it. So for me, this is more like a contemporary take on and using a traditional form, but adapting it. So you need to change, of course, the narration, the lyrics. You have to change this a little bit so that you bring this perspective with, climate change. We can talk about this. Of course, because there is like, we cross over the ocean, Hanuman goes deep into the water. Maybe there was a lot of dirt. Maybe there was a lot of garbage floating in the water. Maybe there was
That's
something
interesting.
there. Yeah,
Like
you see.
plastic.
Yeah, maybe some fish like they cannot swim as well because the water is too hot and then it's not cold enough for them to lay eggs. I don't know. There can be many different directions we could do with this if we were going to talk about that.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is why I think, this is what I was saying. Like when we look at the Khon in the this big picture,
Yes.
and you see like a traditional way to perform it, I would say like the takeaway from those stories are still the same that we had in the past. So it's mainly about Buddhist take and good versus bad. So good always win. That's something good. So you have to behave good. If you behave, if you're loyal, if you follow orders or if you follow your elders, these are the good things that you can take from Khon in the traditional sense, I guess.
But there could also be modifications that help convey
I think
issues,
so.
right?
I think
in the
there's
future.
room for it. There's room for it, for sure, because it will relate more to people.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So that's it. I think we can do it. We just need to find the right, like a right way to do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what was your dream profession as a kid? Like, and was it like connected to like what you're doing now?
Yes and no. So I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher since I was very young. So for me, it can take many different forms, but the main thing that I like is sharing knowledge or sharing experiences and then help people to grow from it or take something from it. And this is my main pleasure. So today, so yeah, I'm still teaching. I love to teach. I like to share what I know about Khon or about other topics. So yeah, so it's still pretty similar, but I never, in 100 years, I never thought I would be a dancer. Never. When I was young and I was a teenager, I was so shy. Like I wouldn't dance at all. Like I don't know how to dance. I didn't feel natural, so I wouldn't do it. I love to draw. I was always really artistic, but not physically. Like I was more doing basketball, rugby, other sports. So yeah, this is something new, and this is what I'm saying. Like when you find something that is just like, there's something that happened when I saw Tensao, and I cannot say why, but you just feel it in your core. Like for me, it was really like.
You got goosebumps?
Yeah,
when you
I got goosebumps. I got like I was
teary
crying.
eyes.
Yeah, I was tearing eyes. I was a really physical experience that I had the first time I saw this, and then I knew, that's it. You knew that I have to try.
And do you still see yourself doing Khon 10 years from now?
I hope so. if my body can keep doing, can keep working, I hope so. I can keep and still perform, and still do Khon, and being able to be in this environment, being able to pass on to the next generation also my take on Khon. So that would be for sure. I really hope I can keep going.
Have you ever thought about like going back to Canada and teaching Khon, or has that ever crossed your mind, or you just like Thailand?
Many people ask me to do that. I think it's possible if it's some kind of workshops. I love to do that. I'm doing it in France. I'm doing it in Laos, in Canada. So I give like workshops to people who are interested into the art form. But teaching like a really dedicated school of Khon in Canada, for the moment, I feel like it would be a bit difficult. Because the Thai community in Canada is still relatively small if I compare to United States. So having like a very small group of people who are interested into Khon, who know about Khon right now, I'm not sure I would go this way. But I would love that, have more opportunities to give workshops, share experiences with other dancers, other artists, and people who want to learn. That's for sure. Yeah, I would keep doing it in Canada or Europe or anywhere actually.
I would like to ask a question about what are your thoughts on the intersections between Khon and maybe Like, like performing cross-dressing? Yeah. Is it in the same circle, like in the same sphere as performing dramatic arts?
It's a bit different. I would say that what is really interesting when you look at the whole performing arts scene in Thailand, you have all those traditional. Okay, I will try to use words that will help us out, but I often divide like the art forms into 3 categories.
Okay.
We would have like folk art form, traditional, and classic. So for me, when you look at those different ancient art forms, classic art forms for me are those that are from the royal palace. So these are the art forms that evolved into the palace and was refined with like a really strict code. So this is the classical art form. Traditional for me comes from the idea from the royal palace. So there's a code, there's something that is like more defined, but at the same time it's not as refined as the one that is in the palace. This is more like coming from the folk and bring some structure to it, like rabam, many rabam, like you can see the style of dancing, but it's still like a beautiful and well done. Rather, when you have the folk art, this one, there's no code. I mean, there's a code, but it's not taught like a school. This one, you learn it from the dance troupe. You learn it from the Like troupe. You learn it from the Khon, or you have like the new, like the Chinese opera. So all those different art forms are really from the people, but made by the people for the people. So when you go see Nang Talung, they always have new stories to tell. It's very contemporary, very funny, and they can have new characters with their shadow puppets as well, because there's no frame that don't allow them to do this. They will change accordingly to the audience. If they see like this character works really well with this audience, they will keep doing it. If this character didn't work well, okay, I'll change, I'll find another one. So they can always change. Like is the same. They can always make it very funny depending on what's happening in the politics or social or religious or like whatever is happening in the society at that point. They can make a joke about it. They can expand the storyline about this, and then it makes it really fun for people like locals and people who go and see this. So for me, it's so different when you have like those different art forms that it's not really connected because the code is different.
Yes.
The way we learn it is different. The whole thing is like very like folk and classical form don't have the same issues. I think they have like different issues, different goods and bad on each side, but they don't really mix, or I don't see this much connection in between.
Would you think the art of drag fits into the third category, the art of impersonating and masculating another person, whether or not it's going to be like an idol that you look up to or a role model, for instance, Mariah Carey? Would you think that would fit into the third category, like the third group that you mentioned relating
in the
to
folk?
Yeah, the folk, like Like, Nang Talung.
Yeah.
Do you think it fits into that category?
You mean artists, like freelance artists?
Like drag queens.
All that drag queens,
Yeah.
like stuff like that? As a performing art? Could be.
Right.
Yeah, why not? I never thought about it like this.
Yes.
But you're probably right, because it's another like full like art form. It's there's no like a strict code that you have to follow. Like you can really dress like up to your imagination, so up to you. They have some kind of frame. I mean, not a frame, but a structure in the performance. I guess like Like has a structure, like the storyline.
Absolutely, yes.
Nang Talung, like we already know also what kind of the storyline would be. So yes, I think you're probably right. This could be also like, you see that, now this might be a bit different. It may be like, it's something about pop culture.
Absolutely, yeah.
More, I think, than folk.
Oh, that's the catch.
Thinking about it though, yeah. I think it would be a bit different. I think there is something that is relating more to pop culture, to what is happening now. And I think the drag movement and everything that is happening right now, these are emerging cultural. Like it's booming. Like there's a lot of things happening, but I wouldn't call it folk because it's not that ancient. Maybe
it's not like as traditional.
That's it.
Right.
Maybe it's not something that really started from the village, like Thai Khon, and then like became something that became like a festival and all of it. So you see the difference, I think. So yeah, maybe something more pop culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Contemporary rather than the other one that really comes from old traditions that has evolved.
It originates from old traditions.
Yeah.
More.
I think so.
Yep.
That would make sense.
What do you feel when performing on stage versus when you're just like self-practicing? Do you have to overcome stage fright or?
Oh, that's so different. When you get on stage, I mean, you're always excited. This is something that I always have, so I'm always excited to get on stage. as I said, also I have like this in my mind, I really want to do it well, to respect the art form for my masters and the teachers. Whereas when I'm practicing by myself, it's really exploring and then really focusing on different aspects of it. So I'm really like, I know when I do this movement, I don't like it. So I want to make it better. So I will keep practicing and try to find the right way to do it. So I think it's mainly what the big difference, like when you have this relationship with the audience. For me, what I'm looking for when I get on stage actually is this connection. I'm looking forward to connect with my dance partners and with the audience. So when we can find this connection, like this energy that's really like you feel it, like you know that you're on the same vibe, like you really, everybody like has the same energy, we all work together, even if we don't touch each other, even if we don't look each other, you have like this feeling that you're really connected. And then when you are able to convey the emotion and really get into your character, and then you can connect to the audience. The audience is just captivating. Like they just like, if on stage you have like 20 people, 20 performers, but for a reason that you don't know, the audience, they all look at this one. For me, I want to be that person. I want to be that person that there's something, like the energy, the way he is on stage, like it just, yes, it just reach you and you're like, you have to watch this one. There are 20 people, why you don't watch the other one? They're all dancing, they're all doing monkey things, but you're looking at this one.
Why is it eye-catching?
That's it. Why there's something. And for me, it's not only the movement, there's something that is not seen, that is intangible. And for me, this is how I want to perform, and this is what I'm trying to do. So you really need to practice a lot so that the body becomes like a tool. Like it's just something that you're using to convey your emotion and your message. So when I'm on stage, I don't want to think about the movements. I don't want to think my back had to be straight. I have to squat a bit more. My angle needs to be more like this. I don't want to think about this. This should be already like automatic, natural, and just comes so that you only focus on your emotion. You only focus on right now, at this moment in this scene, how do I feel? And how can I project this emotion to the other ones? So I'm really working on that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This is like a master class.
But you see, but this is all coming from different experience that I had, and different masters who like just helped me and taught me and really helped me to grow up, because you see those dancers, like they were just like, it's even meditation. Like you just want to make sure that you're at peace before going on stage, and you're really like present. You're not thinking about, oh yes, I have to go buy this after the performance, or I have to do this homework, or no, you're there, you're fully there. You're Hanuman. At that moment, you're Hanuman. And this is why I love, so because like as you know, the costumes are sewed on our bodies. So they're really, really fit. So everything is tight and it feels like a second skin. Like it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a costume, right? It feels like this is me. This is my body. It's not bigger. It's just like you can touch me and it's my bone, my muscles, you feel it. And then when you have this mask, that it just isolates you from the outside world.
Yeah.
So you don't have I don't have my ears exposed. I don't have anything actually exposed to the elements. So it gives you it's just the music, the sounds get a bit lower, just a little bit, not too much, but you just you isolate yourself a little bit more, and it helps you to just get into your own character. Whereas I don't have to focus on my face, I don't have to focus on emotion through my face. I only feel it, and then I'm like, okay, like now I'm angry, like I'm just there. It's just you feel it in your bone and your muscle, and you're like, you need to. All right, it's really. So yeah, so I think this is the when you're on stage. That's the whole point. When I perform and I'm not connecting with the audience, and if I'm not connecting with my fellow dancers, that's the worst.
Oh.
This is when you feel like it didn't work. Today it didn't work. I need to challenge. I need to find a way how to make it happen next time.
So like that's the goal.
For me, that's my whole goal. I really want to do this. I really want to connect with them and find a way that we enjoy ourselves on stage. And so there's something that is very important for me in the process of doing Khon that I really want to preserve as well. And it's this moment that we waiku before each performance. So compare maybe to Western style performances, Khon, we always take a moment to just pay respects to the masters, to the teachers, and we really get into this, we just stop time, just for a few seconds, a few minutes. Everybody's in the back of the stage, come together, and then we just do the ritual, and it just helps to just never forget that you're just like, it's humbling because I'm not this big superstar on stage. No, I'm just this small dancer who learned it from all those dancers before me who were so great. They had so much experience. So I'm just this small person doing my best to do what they did, and that's it. So I love this moment, and I feel like it's something that I value a lot, that I try to share with everyone also who's learning Khon, because it's something that I learned being Canadian, that where you don't have, we did lose a lot, I think, of those aspects, like the respect for traditions and elders, and we really focus on the new and the innovation and the future and what's going to happen next, and we always look more to the front than the back. So I feel like I learned this from Khon. I do believe now that I found a better balance between the past and tradition, how to preserve it, but at the same time going forward and find new ways to innovate, but keep the respect and the balance in between. Because I don't feel like one cannot go without the other. Like tradition without modernity, it's nothing.
True.
If there's nothing new, it's always the same.
Yeah. True.
So if it's always the same, then what's the point of it? Like, how many times can you watch this dance if it's always the same? How many times will you perform this dance and find it inspiring or relevant to yourself? It's always the same, in the same pattern, the same way that it's done, and it's never new. And if it's never new, then Ayutthaya wouldn't have any Khon, because it would be the same as in Khmer or the same as in India, because they wouldn't have innovate. They would have just repeat the same. You get it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this applies like to even more than Khon, to other things also.
Yes. No, that's it. It's something that I always think about this, because we always try to, I want to preserve, I want to make sure that everything that is the same, that I keep going with this. But in my mind, I'm always thinking, but if everybody's thinking like this, nothing gets new, nothing gets created, because we will just repeat what my master did, and I will not create something new. So if the people, if the teachers there, in the Ayutthaya, they thought we cannot create new dances, we need to perform as we did before, well, we'll never have what we have today. We'll not see Khon as we see today, because in the past, Khon was only performed by female dancers in the inner court or by soldiers outside. So we wouldn't have this kind of mix between romantic scene and battle scenes all together. They will have kept it separate. But even if we go further than that, we wouldn't have Khon, because they will perform it as it did in India or Sri Lanka. So you see what I try to, you have to find this balance between the past and the future and the present and then in between, and try to make sure you do it well. As long as it's art, as long as it's respectful, it has good intentions, it's and it's knowledgeable. We need to make sure, I think, that you understand it. You need to study it. I wouldn't feel comfortable performing Khon, for instance, if I didn't know as much details, I think, about the history, about the way to perform it, the way to study it. I think it's very important to understand the whole picture, the context, the evolution of it, and then you can perform it in the same vein, I think, maybe that it was intended to. If I would have done only like a very quick workshop, just learning the shape of it and then go, then it's something completely different.
Yes.
It wouldn't be Khon. This wouldn't be called Khon because you didn't go
Deep into it.
That's it. So it's something that I always try to, because you can always go deeper. You can always learn something. So trying to keep.
So you're essentially encouraging the crystallization of the past while respecting it as well, and also like applying positive amendments to it, maybe? At the same time.
That's a good question. I mean, for me, it's not, I wouldn't use like crystallization. No, but I find it very fixed and really like,
true.
It cannot change.
But you need to find like a balance between like both sides, like the present and the past.
I mean, if you follow the logic of Buddhism, like nothing is permanent, nothing stays the same. It's always moving and evolving and changing, right? So just from this principle, this idea that nothing stays the same, I cannot say that what we're doing right now is 100% the same as in 700 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I understand.
It's always changing. It's always moving because humans, we're evolving, we're changing, and things like it's always evolving. So the idea for me is not that we fix it and we stop it there. No. We can always keep going forward. But the challenge is this. What is Khon? What are the elements of Khon that we need to keep to make it Khon? If we lose this, is it still Khon? If there's no mask, is it still Khon? If there's no costume, is it still Khon? You see? So this is the whole thing. That I'm always like trying. There's no good answer there. I'm trying. I'm just bringing you some reflections that I have that I struggle with. But I want to keep it as true to itself as it can. But at the same time, I want it to be relevant to the people who watch it. I want it to be interesting and fun to watch. I want it to have meaning. I don't want it to have like only. It's my goal for me, Khon is not like it's not like Lady Gaga or like it's not like a
Show.
Yeah, that's not entertainment. Like it's not like just like you go and you're like, wow, it's fun, good, and it's finished, and then you're just like, oh, that was a good night. We just enjoy ourselves, and then we can just move on with our lives. It could be something like this, but at the same time, I don't feel like this is the main goal of a Khon performance.
Yes.
From the beginning, from the very, very beginning, Khon was an entertainment for the king, right? And then it became something like used as a propaganda. So it was used also to promote the monarchy and promote Thai identity, and it was something that was used in society in a good way so that it can promote a high art form at the same level as foreign countries who had ballet, opera, theater, and then Thailand could also showcase it. We also have like this refined and very beautiful art form. So it was used in some way, and as something like that at some point in history. And then it became something else. And then it became like this art form from the fine art department.
Yes.
So then it became something democratic, something for the people, for the people. The artists who are doing it, they are not from the royal palace. It's me and you going to study Khon and dedicate ourselves to dance, and that's it. And then it became something easier to understand when Kru Seli Wanantam, the national artist who was the director of the National Theatre in the 80s and 90s, I think, he did adapt the form again. And then he brought the comics to talk in between scene so that he can explain the things that the audience wouldn't know about, or the backstory, or just try to summarize it in a funny way of what just happened. So if you watch like 1 or 2 hours of Khon, and then you just like, I'm not sure I understand everything. Then he would have like those comics coming on stage, and they will talk funny, and then you just relax, and then you just like, he just summarize it, everything that happened before that. So that was his technique.
Wow.
That he brought it so that it's make it easier to the people. More people can go and see it and enjoy it.
Yes.
And they can understand it. Even if they don't watch 7 hours, now they can just like 1 hour and a half,
Summarize
2 hours,
it.
3 hours, and we can still get the whole thing. So nowadays, when you see maybe the latest art form of Khon at the Queen's Hilight performance, you see that we still use those kind of elements. You still have comics.
True.
They help to do a release during the performance. It helps also to understand what's happening, or who, what, where, and they ask very basic and stupid questions, so they make sure that everybody can get the information right. And it's so funny. And then, but you also have like this balance between, like, as I said, action, romance, fighting, as I said, and the narration. So well, what was I talking about now?
It's fine. I like the branching.
Yeah, I'm branching everywhere, but But you see, like just the evolution of Khon through the years, how they always changed, so that the audience at that time, they would find it interesting as well. But always keeping the goal that they want to stay true, I guess, or right to the story, to the Ramakian, from the text, from the Rama 1 and Rama 2. And they will always, I think, try to keep at least the choreography and the music as we have learned it from our masters. So if we have learned, like, as I said, Pali Son Nom, the way I learned it is the way my master learned it, and this is how his master learned it, and that's it. So we try to keep the same technique, choreography, style also, depending, like I'm learning with Krupasit Pinkao. Krupasit Pinkao, he has the way he dances, the way he do some movements, his personality when performing. We try to replicate, we try to get some of it so that we can keep having him alive through our movement in a way, something like this.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm like, it's still trying to reproduce or still trying to replicate what was in the past. But the way we do the whole performance, it changed. The form of it. As I said, the past, all female dancers or all male dancers. And then mixed together. And then we brought comics as well. And then it became the form that we have today in the 1 hour and a half or 2 hours format.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So have you ever wished that the art of Khon, or like particular characters throughout the art of Khon, doesn't require you to wear a mask? Like you've mentioned earlier, how like you question and you contemplate whether or not this will actually still be Khon if you take the elements of the mask out. So have you ever considered like taking the elements of the mask of Khon out?
I did performances where I didn't have masks in contemporary setting, so it's very different.
Yeah.
Different feeling, different message. The whole thing is, it's for me. It's another. For me, it becomes something different that is not exactly Khon. Even if the movement that we're doing with our bodies is based on the movements that we do for Khon,
like derives from it.
Yes, but for me, it's something like it's a new art form. It's
absolutely
different. That's
I understand.
So
this is
just go with
Yes, for me, and in the film that I did, I felt that the mask is one of the key of Khon. It's the one that I feel like it pushes us to use our bodies more than convey emotion through the faces. We have to work on the angles of the mask to make sure that this angle, just slightly bent, this conveys this kind of emotion. But if we put it more, it changes the emotion right away. It becomes something, yeah. So it's something like this. It's that detail because you need to make sure you know how do I position myself if you don't see my eyes, you don't see my face in motion, like so different. So yeah, for me, the mask, I think it's key of the dance. And this is why I decided also that even the male and female characters, they would have to wear masks. In my mind, it becomes something that is more Khon-like. Whereas when we do put on the makeup, it becomes more theater-like because now the emotion can go through the face. But even then, the performers who perform male and female characters, they have a strict face expression that they cannot go beyond this. They will never show their teeth, for example. If they smile with. That's it. So it's only moving just a little bit the shape of your mouth to convey emotion. Frowning your eyebrow also a little bit, so you can open up or slightly, so you can play with this, but not too much.
Very detailed.
So it's still like kind of mask-like because they put up like heavy makeup, so that's a lot. And also because they restrict the full range of emotion, I think, that it can put it in their face as well. But for me, I still value, I think I would love to see more masks for female and male characters as well.
Wow.
Because I love the challenge and I feel like it's difficult. It's like you see like, wow, this artist really worked on it. Like you can, Pansili, the artist who performed the female role in my film, amazing. She's, wow. When you see her performance, even with the mask, you forget that she wears a mask.
Oh.
It's very strong. Even in the film, like when you see it real, you're gonna cry. Like it's so strong. Like like you just see her hands shaking and you know like she's just like crying inside. Even if you don't see tears, you just feel that she's, wow. And this is like good performers. You see it, you feel it. So then you know now that we don't need actually our faces sometimes to just convey message or emotion.
Yeah.
So that's a really important thing I want to keep. The costumes can be something that can be worked on a dancing perspective because it's very heavy. So it's movement restricted a lot. So when we have like all those jewelries that are heavy and then they restrict our wrists and then we have it to the ankles as well. And the fact that we wear so much fabrics and stuff that sometimes we get restricted in our movement, so we cannot do the full range of it. So I feel this is something that can be worked on, especially for the monkeys, since we need to do acrobatics and jumps and stuff and roll. So this can help us. Actually, in the Royal Patronage Khon performance, they did work on it. So the fabric is thinner.
Oh.
So it's lighter.
Yeah.
And it helps to make it easier for movements. So this is something that can be worked on. And other than that, I would say like there's always room to create like new lyrics and new narrations. You can write new parts, like parts that haven't been maybe on stage often. So for example, there was a few years ago a professor from the College of Dramatic Art in Chiang Mai. He did a research on Hanuman who's playing with the a bloodsucker, right? Len Pling. Hanuman Len Pling.
Okay.
I don't know in English. I forgot the word. You know, playing.
Bloodsucker.
Right?
I don't know.
Leech.
Leech, that's
Leech.
right. So sorry, I forgot. Bloodsucker. That was a strong word. But yeah, but there's a scene where Hanuman he's playing with a leech, and I've never seen it before on stage, and this doctor like did the research on this. He put it on stage. They talked to my monkey master, and they talked about like finding the choreography, which movement we should do for this scene. So even like this is only a few years ago. So there's always innovation, like new scenes, new things that we haven't explored much, and now we want to add more to it. We just need to respect the code. That's it.
Are there any advice for the people who want to go try out for an audition for the Khon performance in the Royal Theatre?
If I have any, okay. So I think, like for any dancer, you just need to to work on it. So the idea is, I think you just practice. That's the key to anything. If you work hard, you will get opportunities. You will get better. You will improve. So practice. That's it.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you can do much more. I think people usually, they will watch a lot. So you can look at many performances, go see them, follow your idols, the dancers that you feel like, oh, he danced so good, I really want to become as good as he is. So you can just look at those performances with those dancers that you admire. This can help you. And then practice. No need to wait for anyone. Don't wait for your friends. Don't wait for the perfect studio to go for it. Do it. You have space at your house. Do it at your house. You have space at your school. Do it at your school. Whenever you have time, you can just find the time to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to do it.
Which camera's filming right now? Take notes, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think that's the main thing. Usually I feel like many people, they just like, I don't want to do it alone, or oh, my teacher is not here, I'm too lazy to do it, so then you don't do it. And then you just like, I don't do it, and you don't do it again. So then you never improve. So you really have to challenge yourself, keep practicing. It's like learning a music instrument. It's the same as learning like sports. You don't become like an expert in basketball if you don't shoot. So it's the same thing. You don't become an expert in dance if you don't dance. That's it.
It's very true to
I
itself.
can totally relate. I'm currently learning the cello.
Yeah,
And it really takes a lot of practice.
that's it. But you have to just do it. You don't wait for your teacher. If you don't do your homework, then you will not improve, and then you will just get stuck, and then you meet your teacher, and then you're not ready again, and you just repeat again the basic that you should have done by yourself. So it's the same thing. Sometimes I see like younger dancers who will just like waiting for the teachers to practice. If they are not there, they wait. They don't do it. So that's the one thing. I think if you can just challenge yourself, find your own discipline, and keep doing it often, it's good.
So in conclusion, you should have the responsibility to dedicate your time to practice so you can improve and move on to other topics when you meet your teacher the other time.
Oh, I mean, you always need your teacher to guide you and to give you the right path
to
to
navigate
go.
you
Exactly.
throughout the path.
But you should definitely have your like good discipline and make it yourself and keep pushing it. Try to get better. Show it to your master, and he will just give you more and more. I think it's the same for everyone. If you have like a dedicated student, someone who is passionate, who really wants like to improve and do it, I think any teachers will feel lucky for this, and they will just give you more and more, and they want to help you to achieve your dream, and that's it. So yeah, in conclusion, whatever is your passion, just go for it. Like there's no limits, I think.
Thank you so much for
thank you,
joining today's
guys.
interview and sharing invaluable insights from your journey and personal stories.
My pleasure. That's great.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ
And I hope you all also enjoy watching this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful, applicable insights from interview series. Thank you. Bye.